go across to Naveen HDFC, Institutional Research for HDFC Securities, to help us understand how HUL has performed. Naveen, it's been a good quarter for HUL. They've managed to perform in double-digit. Urban and rural consumption has done well. They've even managed to brace for rising input cost. Talking about cost, and let's start with that, because the rise in input costs very clearly has two parts to it. On one hand, the prices of crude and currency depreciation are clearly having a larger impact on their portfolio, but the benign prices of vegetable oil and food items are partially offsetting that. How long do you anticipate this offset to continue? And of course, what I want to get to is, when do you think this will start putting pressure on HUL's portfolio and force them to undertake a price hike?
Yeah, hi. HUL consistently, like in the last 4 or 5 quarters, is showing very strong growth. If you look at last 5 quarters revenue growth, which is like 3x of its own average. And if you look at the last 5 quarters EBITDA growth, it is almost like 2x of the last 3-4 years average. So there has been a consistent outperformance in the last 4 or 5 quarters. However, like you mentioned about the certain headwinds, we also agree on that part, that there can be some deceleration in the margin expansion, especially when commodity prices are heading up, and HUL also facing a very heavy base in the coming quarter. So Q2 onwards, these things will be watched out. I don't have any doubts about their revenue growth, which has been very steady, and considering the rural revenues are still sustained, we expect that such benefits will continue, and HUL can sustain a double-digit kind of a revenue growth going ahead also.
Right. Naveen, this time around too, we've seen that the growth largely is coming in from rural versus urban, and that's where the higher traction very obviously is. All their 3 main verticals have picked up more business in rural India versus urban. Are you expecting this trend to actually continue in the next couple of quarters, and do you think it's only a matter of time that urban starts playing catch up?
Considering rural was under stress for last 3-4 years, it's only last couple of quarters we have started seeing improvement, especially when demonetization, GST, lower MSP has basically decelerated the rural growth. If I look at this historically, last 10 years, the rural growth was always ahead of the urban growth, around 1.5 times. So, but this is the only momentum we have started seeing in the rural side. And considering MSP still was healthy, and elections are also coming, we believe that the rural growth will sustain its high growth.
Right. Naveen, this is Hiral on this side. If you talk about the personal care business, we've started to see improvement that has come in the last few quarters. However, in terms of oral care, that has been something which has been concerning. The company's market share as well with regards to oral care is still in early double digits, whereas you have Colgate, which is still pretty high. What do you make of this, and do you think there is going to be a catch-up that HUL will be able to play in the oral care?
So, oral care business, if you look at both Colgate and HUL, both have suffered a lot in terms of growth. Colgate also lost market share, and HUL also lost market share. So this is one category where lever is suffering since last couple of years. So one clear-cut thing here is that the natural segment are gaining traction. Ayurvedic and natural segment. So that, in that context, has been one of the key beneficiaries. So I think this is one segment where they tried a lot with Pepsodent also for close-up also, with relaunches also. But the kind of success which they have seen in the other brands, that has not been replicated in the case of oral care portfolio. So Ayush is also one brand where they tried to again accelerate and gain share in the natural segment, but so far those success has been not very material.
And Naveen, overall in terms of the margin trajectory as well, the gross margins have declined after several quarters. Now, with all of that said and done, you have, ad spends which are slightly lower than usual. You have rupee depreciation as well as the way currency has been moving. That has been impacting margins as well. What's the sense that you're picking up for the second half of FY19? Do you think there could be concerns that could continue, and what's your, margin trajectory looking like?
So if you look at even the Q2 numbers and the commentary also, you will find the price hike which they have taken, that was almost at the end of the quarter. So the full price hike benefit was not there during the quarter. So we believe that considering there are enough levers with respect to price hike, margin should not be a big concern going ahead also. Although the kind of expansion which they have delivered in the last 4 or 5 quarters, there can be deceleration in that part. But we don't see that there can be a contraction at the EBITDA level, because they're taking lots of cost cut initiatives also. Even if you look at this quarter performance also, their other expenses and was considering they reported 10% volume growth was flat this quarter. So such initiatives make control the EBITDA margin. So we don't see any contraction at the EBITDA level.
Naveen, what is your call on HUL? Have you sort of reduced your price target given the recent market correction and margin risk, or are you still holding on to your price target? And also, what's your top pick in the sector? I'm assuming it must be HUL.
Yeah, so lever has been our topic since last 1.5 years. We were the believer that considering the broader challenges in the system with respect to GST implementation and demonetization, company like lever should outperform, and that has played out well clearly. Now, considering there has been a rich valuation and there can be a relatively underperformance versus their own performance in the last 4 or 5 quarters, so we believe that it is also like 8-9%. So in the Q1 FY19 time, we had downgraded our rating to neutral from buy. Our target price is more or less similar to around 1691. So apart from 2 or 2% kind of a change, they have not done material changes in terms of earnings.
Right. Naveen, thanks for that. Good talking to you this morning. That's the word coming in on HUL. HDFC Securities has been bullish on the counter for the last 1 to 1.5 years, and they continue to remain optimistic on HUL. That still is their top pick in the sector.